Welcome to Mind and Movement, getting smart about how you move. I'm Hazel. Thank you so much for joining me for Coffee and Move 34 on this wonderful Saturday, ANZAC Day. I got up at 6 this morning and stood at my letterbox and sang God of Nations and then sung Australians, oh let us rejoice, which was lovely. I really enjoyed it. So today it's Saturday and I'm just getting back to my fundamental foundational moves. So we're going to do the V-sit, we're going to do some quad stretching as in the couch stretch, and then we'll just go from there. So easing that lymph. What you're really working on here is lifting your pelvis up into a position where you can be in a neutral position. So that means the pubic symphysis, this bit here, and the ASIS bones are on the same vertical plane, so straight up and down. You don't want it to be tucked back. You can start to tuck it forward a little bit as you come into that hip hinge to move forward, but that movement should be happening at the hips, not at the spine. So it is hip hinging that we're doing, not spinal flexion from the side. Spinal flexion would be that kind of, and hip hinging is more when we're moving at the hips. So this exercise for me and for you is to open up the space between our the space between our kind of ischial tuberosities, where our hamstrings are in the back of those hamstrings there, and we're in this position here to get some length through these muscles on the inside, which are called our adductors, which are very, very important for stabilizing the position of our leg as we carry our body, carry our pelvis over our leg in walking. Yeah, adductors. They are super cool. I like them. And wriggle your toes a little bit. How many of you folks woke up early to celebrate ANZAC Day, of course, here in Australia and New Zealand? If you don't know what I'm talking about, in Australia and New Zealand, we celebrate the ANZACs, the Australia and New Zealand Army Corps, who have fought in wars around the world, especially World War I and World War II. And yeah, it was nice. Lots of people were standing out there with candles. There's a little bit of singing happening. And it was a nice thing to be able to come together while we're still in isolation here in New Zealand. Level 4 until Monday night at midnight. Then we go into level 3, but it doesn't mean much of a change in terms of the size of our bubbles or anything like that. A few more people will be going back to work. A few more people, probably about 500,000 people will be going back to work here in New Zealand. I unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever way you want to look at it, can't go back to work until at least level 1, maybe even level 0. That's fine. I'll be V-sitting with you guys. Okay, so let's do the couch stretch now. I love just accumulating time in the V-sit and in any kind of hamstring stretching position. Over the last couple of years, I have made significant progress in the ability to move at my hips. I was not very skilled at moving through the hips not that long ago. And yeah, it's amazing as you regain your movement at the front of your hip, when you regain movement in your shoulder, when you regain movement in your thoracic spine, how all of that leads you to no longer hyperextend in your lumbar lordosis, or in your lumbar spine. We move there so much when we can't move elsewhere. We thrust our ribs, we extend our hip. We can't extend our hip, so we arch our back, extend our back. So, no back pain. As you open up different parts of your body, the most surprising part of my journey has been, I haven't done anything for my back, but it all of course has had a beautiful effect on my back. I used to play a lot of sport, I used to do a lot of running, and exercise tends to create imbalances in the body. Injuries create imbalances in the body, and we just take those into everything we do, and we end up with weird movement patterns. Let's just say I had some weird movement patterns, And I've still got weird movement patterns, but they're getting better. Oh yeah, this one. Okay, so today I'm playing the level 2 version of the couch stretch. Remember, level 1 is here, and many of you, we're taking this hip down towards the ground. Many of you want to hang out here, that's fine. Level 2 is up here, so I've got this foot on the ground, and then I'm still bringing this hip towards the ground, using my glute to push this knee back into the wall a little bit if you want to do a bit of P&F style stuff there. And then this, of course, coming all the way up is level 3. And I do level 3 quite a lot, but today I'm feeling level 2. So, again, these are 2 stretches for me that have just become a foundational part of my movement practice every day. Every day I do a V-sit or a move called legs up the wall, which is just lying with your legs up the wall in a V. I don't do that in this room though because I've damaged a wall. So make sure you don't put your legs up the wall when you've got shoes on or anything like that. Oh yeah, and then we're just going to come back into the V-sit. So today we might just go foundational moves. This time I'm going to give bring my legs a little bit closer together. So still in a V-sit, but slightly different loads for the hamstring muscles. And for me, this really kind of brings to light how my lack of ingrained kind of core strength from a really deep foundational level, not just that superficial kind of abs, these upper parts of the abdominals, I have to work to get myself into that hip hinge. And it's amazing when you start to feel, oh, my hamstring and glute lack of strength here is also part of this pattern of my abs not being very strong. And of course I could do a whole lot of sit-ups and get my rectus abdominis really strong, but in a really dysfunctional way. I'd be really good at doing sit-ups, but I want to be really good at my body being in a neutral position without me thinking about it. And to do that, I must gain lengths and strengths in different areas of my body. And the key part to that is just my awareness. Where is my body now? Where is my body now? What am I doing with my body now? Why am I doing that with my body? Oh, because I've been sitting in chairs my whole life, or whatever. So my teacher Katie says that these aren't exercises, they're awareness tools. They're tools for you to work out what's actually happening in your body, and when you know what's happening in your body, you can then very much work out how to fix it. And anybody can do that. You don't need a huge amount of movement knowledge to understand it. You need to know a little bit, but then you can just be like, this part of my body doesn't move. What can I do to bring movement to this part of my body? And maybe you ask somebody with a little bit more knowledge, or maybe you don't. Maybe you investigate it yourself. Maybe you trust your wisdom or intuition of being able to know what's right for your body. So one thing I'd really love to remind all humans is that you are the expert of your body. Nobody knows your body better than you. If you think that something is up with your body and somebody else thinks you're sweet and you feel that something needs to be done, keep going towards what you think needs to happen, because it's key. Okay, so a little bit of gentle massage. I've been doing a little bit more quad stuff recently, and very interestingly, it's created a area of stickiness between in the perifascia, the fascia on the fascia, in my ITB, between my ITB, my iliotibial band here, and my quad. And it's really interesting because one of the reasons I stopped running many years ago was because I had that same problem. So for me, I'm like, what am I doing there? What do I need to change? How am I rotating my leg in a certain way? What am I doing? Okay, so we've accumulated a bit of time here in this V-sit. Nice little bit of load here for the hamstrings, a little bit of work for the abs, and then let's finish up with a nice little quad stretch. in the couch stretch. If you don't know Kelly Storette, Google Kelly Storette and start looking at his mobility WODs. He has an awesome amount of information out there online. He's a smart dude, he really knows what he's talking about, and he's fun. He started doing the mobility project about 10 years ago, I think. He's got thousands of videos online, and he's kind of funny. And he's smart and interesting. So the couch stretch is, it's just a quad stretch, and we've all been doing this quad stretch for a long time, but Kelly calls it the couch stretch. This is Kelly's baby, so to speak. Shout out to Kelly and his awesome wife Juliet. They are funny. If you haven't seen their, they've changed mobility WOD into the ready state. And if you haven't, go to their YouTube channel and watch their rebranding video. It's hilarious. Okay, let's flick on to the other side. Kelly is associated a lot with CrossFit, but he is much more than CrossFit. He is a very smart coach, a very cool dude, and a very knowledgeable physio. So if you're into CrossFit or anything like that, if you're into mobility, he's another great resource. And on that note, just before I came in here, a bellbird flew underneath my armpit when I had my arm up like this carrying my coffee, and scared the living bejesus out of me, but it was so nice to be so close to a bellbird. And on that note, have a absolutely fantastic ANZAC day. Any questions or any moves you want to learn, any part of your body you want to know more about, please let me know. And I'll see you tomorrow, Sunday, our second to last day in level 4 here in New Zealand. Have a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day here in Christchurch. Much aroha nui to you. See you.